Welcome to r/IDontWorkHereLady, where we share stories about folks that are mistaken for employees by irate customers. And the first story is, not taking trash is sexual assault. First time Reddit poster here. I don't know if this counts, but oh well. Buckle down for a long explanation. Some background. I'm a plumber and I'm only 18. I went to a trade school for high school and came out with a full-time job as an apprentice. This happened about 5 months ago and has had me effed up ever since. I was working in a 4-story building inside the city, and there's only one elevator, which we weren't allowed to use because of the companies that worked in the building itself, and then only one spiral square staircase, needed for later. My journeyman and I were wrapping up our day and packing up everything. As the younger guy, I was sweeping and taking the loads back down to the truck to get ready to leave, and on one of my last trips, I was only taking a trash bag and a few of the hand tools I hadn't grabbed yet. I'm in my normal work clothes, but my boss isn't strict about wearing company clothing, so I'm only wearing my Dickies pants and a beat-up sweatshirt with no labels. I start walking down the stairs with the trash from the 4th floor to the bottom when a worker, networking/caller helpline company, from the 3rd floor walked out with the trash bag. I briefly walked past just finishing my day when she scoffed at me. Me being the kid I am, turn around and say, "I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. I didn't mean to bump into you," and continued down, and then she said, "Here, take this SH. I got a call I need to get on." I said that I was sorry and I didn't work for the building, and it's not my job to take it. So she then exclaims, "You're dressed as a janitor. My son's one too. You dress just like him. He has the same tools on him all day." I tried to tell her that I didn't, and I'm a plumber working above her on 4th. In retrospect, yes, I could have taken it, but there wasn't one of those giant trash bins to put trash in, so we had to take it back to shop to dispose of, and we didn't have much room for more in the van. I started to get annoyed, but I just remembered that I needed to take breaths and walk away. I start going down the stairs when she grabbed the back of my hoodie and yanked it. I spun around, like what the heck, and she snapped the bag into my stomach, sending me stumbling down the stairs. This was when one of her coworkers comes out because of the commotion, and she starts fake crying, saying I sexually harassed her, and that she shoved me down the stairs in an attempt to save herself. I tried to say something getting up, but the guy was on the phone with the cops already, and he took her away to calm her down. I started to get so mad at this woman, but my coworker came to me and said everything would be fine. This is when the biggest blessings ever occurred. My buddy loves to mess with me. He'd take videos of me working or being oblivious, and he'd throw like coins at me. No, I'm not Jewish and/or not a Jewish joke. To be funny, or dump water on me just as a joke to lighten the day up a bit. Well, he recorded the interaction, and the lady never knew he was there. Reason why spiral staircase was important. By the time he made sure I was alright, the cops were there about 10 minutes after the whole thing went down. They talk to the woman, and they take her side of things first. They start questioning me in the stairwell, and my buddy said he witnessed it and had a video. He began to show the video to the cop of literally everything, from the moment I began down the stairs and past this lady to her shoving me down the stairs. He talks to her, and from the second he said there was a video, she turned ghost white. They took her downstairs to the cruiser, and the cop came back to me, asking if I needed assistance or ambulance, as I had a gash on my elbow when I stumbled down, but I was totally fine though, just in complete shock. He asked if I wanted to press charges, and I said I would. In the following time since this happened, I've taken her to court. She's been charged and is serving time for assault and battery and another thing I don't recall. What's important to know, as I'm realizing now, is that there were no cameras in the stairwell. I would have been screwed, absolutely screwed. It was a huge reality check for myself. I could be sitting in jail serving time for something I didn't do at this very moment. It could have ruined my life, to be quite honest. Luckily, my buddy was there, and ever since then I've never even complained once about him messing around with me. Shortly after this, the building installed new cameras everywhere. Being 5 months later, my parents have been awesome and teaching me all about this stuff, especially since I'm a man and it can get scary with accusations like that. They believe me, and I've always been raised by them to treat women right. And I'm the kid who wouldn't hurt a fly. Disclaimer, I typed this on my phone and I suck in English all my life, so I know the grammar is probably terrible. The second story is, I'm a park supervisor, but not this park supervisor. A bit long, sorry. As I've said in other posts, I'm a retired state park supervisor, so this story's from a while back. Every Monday, we had to turn in weekly reports at our headquarters. There are a lot of things we're supposed to turn in then, but the important one was our weekly financials. That is, account for how many camping permits we sold, rentals, picnic or beach passes, etc., and how much money we took in. We did one for each day and one for the week. I was known as being OCD about them, so mine were always right, and I'd often walk other park supervisors or assistants through any issues they had. On this Monday, I turned in my report, no problems, and started putting our supply order in the truck. That's when my boss came out and said, "Hey Syndax, can you stop by Dee's Park on your way back? She can't print out her financials." I replied, "Yeah, I'll see what I can do." The reason I was asked is that I used to be a systems admin and owned a computer shop before this, and our IT people were notorious for slow response times. As a result, I frequently got called first to see if I could fix it. I didn't mind, because Dee was not just a friend of mine, she'd been my boss when I started, and I'd learned a lot about running parks from her. I stopped by and Dee was getting frantic. She told me that everything had worked until yesterday, and while she was able to put the information in, the system wouldn't pull up the report page for printing. I told her to show me what she did. She pulled up the browser to access our reporting system, and right away I saw the problem. "Why are you using Chrome?" I asked. Dee replied, "What? What do you mean? I just clicked on the icon to do my report," she said. Now, I have no problem with Chrome or Firefox, but the official browser was Internet Explorer. The system we used for reports had browser-specific scripts, so you couldn't use any other browser. I explained this to Dee, and she growled. It turned out that yesterday her daughter and grandson had come for a visit, and while Dee had been out taking care of something, her daughter had decided to upgrade the computer by installing Chrome on it. Of course, one of the things it does is ask you if you want to make it the default browser, and she'd clicked yes, hence the difficulty in printing reports. It was an easy fix, I just had to change it back, which I did. I then said, "Now try it," to Dee, and lo, the report popped up. She thanked me, and I said no problem, glad it was a simple fix, but tell your daughter to not upgrade the work computers. I left the office and was headed to my truck when this woman came charging up to me, late 40s or early 50s, sort of chubby, blonde, short hair, a Karen. "Are you the park supervisor?" she said. I'm a park supervisor, but not." That was all I got out. She proceeded to start yelling about how my park ranger had ruined her family's weekend. Now, this park didn't have a park ranger. She was talking about Dee. I tried to get a word in edgewise, but nope, she was on a tear about that bee. I realized I was going to have to wait her out. She proceeded to tell me all about how Dee had ruined her weekend, while I started mentally adding up the various park rules and state laws this woman and her family had broken. By the time she wound down, I'd counted 5 park rules, 2 misdemeanors, and probably a felony. And thinking that Dee must have been in a forgiving mood, she finally ended with, "And I want her fired." I said, "I can't do that." She yelled, "Why the heck not?" I said, "Because she's the supervisor of this park. I'm the supervisor of a different park. I can say that I wouldn't have ruined your weekend." She said, "Really?" I said, "Absolutely. If you'd been at my park, I'd have had the police in to give you tickets and then evicted you. I'd have ruined your life." She stared at me for a second and said, "I'm going to call your headquarters about this." I said, "I'm sure you will when you get home." And then I smiled and in a cheery voice added, "Now have a safe trip." She huffed, turned around, and stormed back to her car. I waved as she left. As her car was disappearing, I heard laughter coming from behind me. Dee had come out of the office and had tears in her eyes from laughing. She said, "I can't believe you just did that." I said, "Well, I figured I should show her just how much worse it could get." Dee said, "I always thought people from my former park were exaggerating when they called you the supervisor from heck. I thought you were really easygoing, but I can see now why they called you that." I said, "I don't like doing it, but when the situation calls for it, well, I release my inner a-hole." We laughed, and I went back to my park. No, the Karen never called, or if she did, it never made it back to us. The third story is, mistaken for a caterer at my own wedding party. My wedding party was very informal. We wore sports jerseys. A lot of family and friends of family came, including a batch of people that I didn't even know, which got a little weird because we still only personally invited everyone and told everyone to let us know if they have a +1, and it would be fine for us to invite them. This is so we could track catering expenses and space concerns. It was a rough day and I was very limited in support and was taking care of most setup and issues myself in a party of roughly 80 people. It felt more like work than a party. The time finally came where I could rest when issues were taken care of about halfway through the party. The sun was beginning to set. I sat down in the corner and wiped the sweat off my face and looked over at the food. Everyone had eaten except me, so I was ready to finally dive into the food I paid for. Some woman I never met in her late 20s asked me to bring a plate for her kids. Me, "I'm sorry, ma'am, I want to bring some stuff for my wife and start eating myself." Lady, "Oh, caterers can bring their family to events like this?" Me, somewhat confused at her response. "The caterers here are a family business, so sort of." Lady, "Isn't it inappropriate for you to eat food someone else paid for?" Me, confused even further but giving a chuckle. "I paid for it. I'm sorry, who did you come here with?" Lady, "Oh really? You must be the party planner. Are you a friend of the groom's? I was invited by the groom. I'm F." Me, chuckling again. "No, I'm the groom." Lady, "Oh, I'm sorry. How embarrassing, you're the groom. Hey, nice to meet you." Me, "I sent invitations by name, but we also requested feedback for the plus invitations. I don't believe I sent you an invitation. I think everyone invited more people than we initially wanted." Lady, "Uh-oh, am I and my kids okay to be here? I'm actually sister's friend's friend. They said it was okay." Me, "Oh yes, that'll be perfectly fine. We have much more food than I had thought. It won't be an issue. Nice to meet you." I came to the table with my wife and her grandmother, and we finally ate. My wife to me, "D girl, you flirting with all the ladies at our wedding party or what?" I know that a +1 of a +1 that was uninvited is generally uncool, but there was no need to stress it. Everyone had a good time, and there was actually too much food. And the last story is, lady breaks social distancing because she assumes I work there. I, male, just about 17, was at a Giant Eagle with my dad just now. In my state, masks are required in public, as is a minimum of 6 feet distance, and yes, I followed all rules. My father was ringing up our groceries and I was bagging them, so there was enough distance between us that I guessed to this Karen, it looked like I worked there. But it should be noted that I was wearing a Jaws shirt and literal swim trunks. Nothing even close to resembling a uniform. So I'm bagging up the goods, and I hear someone say something behind me, but the voice is way too close. I turn around and there she is, a middle-aged Karen, a mere 1 foot away from me, if that, but she's wearing a mask, looking right into my eyes. I freeze for a second, because being autistic and having social anxiety, eye contact is a big no for me, so I quickly look away. I'm confused, so I say, "What?" Not with attitude or anything, just pure confusion. Karen huffs and rolls her eyes and snaps. Oh my god, I said where is insert product here? It hits me that she thinks I work there. Now like I said, I'm in fight or flight mode, so I can't really formulate a response. I happened to watch Impractical Jokers the movie last night, so the first thing that comes to mind is, up your A and to the left. So I say it, not with attitude, I just sort of simply state it. Karen gasps, says something along the lines of how dare you, and storms away. Luckily, my dad got a good laugh out of it, and isn't mad at all, as the lady did act very out of line. Side note, I definitely recommend the Impractical Jokers movie. Funny stuff. Thank you for watching, have a good day.